It's Monday, November 13th, 2023, and this is episode 295 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, I am no longer speaking to you from beautiful El Cajon, California.
Oh, nice.
We have moved. We are now in La Mesa, California, which is actually the city between San Diego and El Cajon. So just a few miles we moved.
You got closer to the ocean.
Yes. And we kind of, the thing is, El Cajon's got this reputation that is deserved in some ways and not really deserved in other ways.
Right.
And La Mesa doesn't really have that reputation. So it's smaller than El Cajon.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller. And like all cities, El Cajon's over 100,000 people. Yeah. So you're going to have some bad parts and some good parts.
Sure. Hey, birthplace of Jimmy Johnson, right? El Cajon?
Right.
Yeah.
El Cajon, yeah.
We downsized. We moved from our house to a condo. We severely downsized. So that was what we decided we were going to do. And it looks like it's working out pretty well for us so far. So if my voice is a little echoey, there's not a lot in this room right now. So some bare walls. So hopefully that'll improve a little bit. All right. Well, let's move on with the show. So the big news since our last episode comes from Florida. So the Seminole tribe reached a compact with Florida to allow sports betting and real craps and roulette at the casinos. Now, there was an emergency bid to block the compact, but the U.S. Supreme Court rejected that. And so the tribe is now moving forward. They plan to have, again, real craps, real roulette, and in-person sports betting in all their casinos by the end of December. They're going to start rolling it out at the beginning of December, and eventually it'll be available at all their casinos. Now, the sports betting app is being relaunched, sort of they're calling it a soft launch. So I'm not exactly sure what that means. I'm guessing that you will still have to be in the casino to access the app and make wagers, but we'll see how that eventually rolls out.
Good. I'm glad for Florida.
Yeah, it looked like sports betting came a little while back, and then the government kind of shut it down, but now it looks like it's really happening, at least with the Seminole tribe. They're going to kind of have a monopoly on the thing, but it's a good step forward.
I had heard that the big hang-up was that chop thing they do at the football games, where they go,
Oh, that was it?
That was it, yeah.
And in what way was that preventing?
Well, most of America wanted to get rid of it, and they wanted to keep it in. So they reached a compromise.
Okay, and that affected the Florida gambling compact between them and the Seminole tribe.
Yeah, they can have gambling now, but they can't make that stupid sound at their football games anymore.
Yeah, I have a feeling that stupid sound is going to continue.
It just drives me crazy.
Oh, I hate it. And there's professional sports too, anything with a Native American theme. And they do. Yeah, I hate it too.
It's just stupid. The Braves in Atlanta do it.
I know.
Kansas City does it. Grow up, people.
At least Cleveland doesn't do it anymore.
No.
To my knowledge, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe there's some bands in there. Is there a Guardian chant?
I don't know what it would be. Guardians of the Galaxy chant?
Yeah,
maybe it's just all 70s pop hits.
Right.
Well, we got an email from listener Eamon. This is interesting. I want to see what you think about this, Mike. This past weekend, some friends and I met up for our every other year Philadelphia casino crawl. One of the casinos is Live Casino. The 7 of us were all doing very well from craps and wanted to play blackjack. We couldn't get on a regular table together, so we went to a table in the high limit room. We filled the table, which was $100 minimum. A few in our group played well over the minimum, averaging at least $1,500 per bet, with many table max bets at $5,000. Wow.
Nice.
I only call this out because the pit kept having to remind the dealer she has to call out table max. This isn't a brag. I stuck to the $100 minimum. We got some serious gambling friends there, Eamon. That's great.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I'd like to have been on that table.
Yeah, no kidding. After at least an hour of playing these limits, one person in our group who was playing all the big bets asked if he could get a room. He's actually the only person in our group who's a local, so the casino would certainly have incentive to keep him coming back. The pit's response was, I can check, but it's going to be difficult with those winnings. I asked what he meant, as I wanted to make sure I heard him correctly. He repeated, he's won too much money. We were all flabbergasted at this response. Our friend was up about $15,000 at this point, but we were continuing to play, and given the size of his bets, he could lose that in just a few hands. He ultimately finished up just over $20,000, which is the biggest win any of us has ever had in years of gambling together. Are we crazy to think this response from the pit is odd? Could he not just say, let me connect you with a host or something similar? Have you ever heard of winning too much to be comped a room? Mind you, this was already about midnight, so it's not as if they were about to sell the room for the night. In other words, he's saying, it's midnight, plenty of rooms available.
Right.
We were all good-natured with the pit's response and made some fun jokes about it while continuing to play. Eventually, a host did come talk to our table and comped our friend a room and gave him $185 in food credit. But the pit made it seem like we were even crazy for asking. At least it was a happy ending as everyone at the table walked away a winner. What do you think of that, Dr. Mike?
Well, the only thing I can glean from this is that the pit guy has got a brain tumor that is affecting.
It makes absolutely no. Have you ever heard of it? No, he's won too much money. He's going to have to pay for the room.
Yeah, we don't want him to stay here. He's too good.
What is the pit thing? And this is a pit in high limit. So I'm assuming it's not his first day on the job.
Right. I mean, was he trying to be sarcastic maybe, or?
I mean, that would be the only explanation I could think of. But if he were being sarcastic, you'd think Eamon would have been able to tell, like, well, I don't know. He's won too much money.
I mean, it's so stupid. It just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
That's why I'm thinking brain tumor, Mark.
Brain tumor. That might be it. The tumor was pressing on a part of the brain.
Yeah.
It has to do with comps.
It controlled his comps.
Yeah.
Well, I love that he got $185 food credit.
Yeah, on top of that,
not
right?
Not 150 or 200, right? 185. Well, we can comp you 185. Don't even ask for 190 because that's out of the question.
Yeah, maybe the host came over and was berating the pit. You said there was even a possibility that we could give him a room? This is your first day on the job.
The Queen of England can't get a room tonight.
Let me think. 175, no. 200, no. Well, sir.
Yeah, looks like 185 will do it for food.
And don't call me.
Oh, what a crazy story.
Yeah, that's a good
one. What are casinos thinking, Mark?
Now, what are they thinking? All right, well, good story, Eamon. Oh, we got an email from Phil. Hello, gents. I've recently discovered your podcast and am enjoying burning through the episodes immensely. Just to help you out with a couple of points mentioned in the most recent couple of episodes. Firstly, I do know of another craps table in the UK. We were talking about how, hey, is craps completely gone? Because the Hippodrome, that was the casino in London that everybody talked about. And it's like, is there any craps left in the whole country? If your correspondent is prepared to travel for a few hours west, he will find a quite beautiful and elegant craps table of some considerable vintage in Les Croupiers, Cardiff, Wales, affectionately known by the locals as the Croups. Oh, that's a little rough, huh? You coming to poker tonight? No, I got the Croups.
Last thing I want to get is the Croups.
All right, so Phil goes on. I recommend phoning ahead. I didn't see it in use during my visit there, although it is on the main floor and not hidden away, so I'm hopeful for your friend. Incidentally, this casino is worth a visit in its own right, purely to experience one of the most unusual casino experiences ever to be had. To name but a few eccentricities, it's located in a shopping mall next to a supermarket. The table limits are 4 pounds to 5,000 pounds. The dealers' uniforms are red polo shirts, but the management all wear tuxedos. And they have the most unusual blackjack procedure. As soon as the cut card comes out, the hand is paused at that point. The cards on the felt are moved to one side. All other cards are then shuffled together before being replaced into the shoe, and the same round is continued, essentially creating an endless shoe. These are just a few of the unusual things about this absolutely bonkers place. Oh, yeah, we've never heard that before. So you can be absolutely in the middle of the hand. Not everybody has their cards yet. And it's like, oh, there's the cut card. Pause, reshuffle, put it back in. That's interesting. Is that faster for the casino? I guess maybe. Oh, I don't know.
I don't know that it makes much difference.
Yeah, because
other than if you're stuck with an ace, you've got one card and it's an ace, and you're thinking, am I going to get blackjack? You have to wait all that time.
Yeah, really. I don't know. I guess if I were a player, I might like it. I don't know. Because I don't know that, again, I'm talking about it being any faster. I doubt it because the dealer is shuffling virtually the same number of cards, right? Minus however many have been dealt out there, which is not much. So, interesting. The other matter regarding players backing others' boxes. This is very common in the UK, and as mentioned in the last episode, tends to happen if one player is hitting something of a streak. Players also frequently play on other people's side bets, too, for similar reasons. With regards to your queries about doubles and splits, when the backing player chooses to not take the option, you are quite right about doubles. The backing player simply participates in the hand at the original wager, with one card only being dealt and the backing player winning or losing accordingly, but just at the original stake. Okay, so that's kind of like we thought. They have the option to either double or not. It's to their disadvantage to not double if it's a proper doubling situation, according to basic strategy, but there you go.
Yeah.
Regarding splits, the backing player will remain in the hand, but on just one side of the split. I've seen some dealers ask the backing player which side of the split they wish to stick with, and on other occasions, the dealer has forced them to take the first side dealt. In other words, the card on the right as viewed by the players. So again, this is interesting. So the backing player has the option to split along with the main player. But I think there would be plenty of options where not splitting or not doubling your bet and only playing on one hand would be more advantageous. And the example is what I mentioned before, a pair of eights. And I haven't run any analysis on this, but I'm thinking that you would be better off to just play one of the hands at the original wager, starting with an 8, than to play, be risky on both. Now, I might be completely off here. It may not make sense at all. But anyway, it's interesting that they would have the option.
Well, they have the option to play one hand, right?
That's what I'm saying, right? They can do the split where they double their wager, and now they're playing both hands. Or they just say, oh, I don't want to split, and then they're forced to play just one of them. So, again, I'm thinking maybe there are situations where you would just only want to play one of them. You wouldn't want to do the split.
But, right.
Anyway, that's for greater minds than I to figure out.
Right. The dealer over at...
oh, yeah, at Bally's.
The dealer at Bally's.
Oh, the dealer at Bally's or the pit boss at Live.
Live, yeah.
Continuing here with Phil's email. Incidentally, more than one player can back the same box, and whilst the original player has the final say in all betting decisions, I have seen occasions where players backing with wagers considerably larger than the original stake have even paid the bettor to hit or stand. Nice earning opportunity if you can get it. That's great. Yeah. If you're playing for like £5. The guy behind you is playing for £1,000. You just say, oh, I'm going to go ahead and hit this hard 18.
Right.
It's just extortion. You could just do that all night long. Right. Of course, the person will stop betting on you, but you just have a small bet out there. All right, I've got a 3 and a 4 for a total of 7. I'll stand.
Yeah, I'll stand.
No. Here, take $100, take a card. All right, well, very interesting. Thank you for that email, Phil.
Yeah. So I think from now on, if I want to get out of something, like I committed to something and then I don't really want to do that. I'm just going to say, oh, I can't. I've come down with the croups.
That's good. And then if they ask you, what's the croup? Say, that's a pretty personal question. I'm offended that you would even ask me about that.
I'd like to explain it to you, but it's a little too personal.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into the details of the croups if you understand.
How I got it.
Yeah, that's out of line. Move along.
The groups. Nobody could fault you for that.
That's right. I understand.
I understand.
You don't want to mess with the groups.
Yeah, that's going to be my excuse for everything.
Good.
Why the heck did you run that red light? I've got the groups.
Oh, I understand. Drive safely now. Oh, we got an email from listener Nicholas. Just caught up with episode 293, and I thought I might shed some light on why Australians call slots pokies. Pokies is a term that is short for poker machines. In the days of the one-armed bandits, most, if not all, spinning reel machines were poker games. That is how it came to be that we call slots pokies. So, again, not video poker like we know it now.
No.
But it must have been like poker cards, on the spinning wheels coming up like that. So, okay.
Right, like
that's
if
where
you
it
get
came
three
from.
jacks or
something like that. Yeah.
Something like, yeah.
Good.
So now you can say, I got the croups when I was playing pokies.
Yeah. I'm not even going to ask this guy what he's talking about. He's obviously crazy. Got it. He's playing the pokies. Caught the croups.
Got the croups.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to voicemails. First up is Austin.
Hello, this is Austin from Orlando, first-time caller, long-time listener. Just got back from Vietnam and want to give you a little trip report there. We kind of stumbled along a casino out in Ha Long Bay. It was abysmal at best. They had about 30 slot machines, 2 blackjack tables, 2 baccarat tables, 1 sick bow, and 1 roulette table, all in U.S. dollars. The only place in Vietnam that there's U.S. dollars. When you go in, you had to go through security, screening, through a metal detector, and they took your passport, did all of that kind of thing. So it's illegal for the Vietnamese to gamble. But we went inside for about 20 minutes, and there was about 4 people inside. It was pretty quiet, and there was no real live action in there. But they said it's a lot busier during the summer with the Chinese and the Koreans playing there. But just want to let you know that there has been gambling played in Vietnam, and I would not recommend it to go do something else more fun. But again, appreciate what you guys do, and welcome to the show.
Okay, well, thanks, Austin.
Thanks.
Yeah, maybe a little more energy during the summer, like you said, but not that great of an experience. But we appreciate
it's funny.
report.
How do they stay open?
How does any casino stay open, Dr. Mike?
Right. I mean, this casino's open. They only got 4 people in there.
Yep. They got to start offering even money blackjack. They can't even go to 6 to 5. That place is in trouble.
Even money blackjack, and no comping at all.
None.
You've either won too much or lost too much.
Yeah, either way, we're not giving you a room.
Yeah, right.
All right. Next up is our good friend Julia.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Julia from the Pacific Northwest. And I used to call you guys after each of my trips, but somehow this past year I have been a little travel crazy and I've gotten behind. So here's a tiny report on my September trip. I was supposed to stay at an MGM property, but when they had their little incident and things weren't working, I thought, let's pivot and try a property I haven't been to in a long time. So I stayed at Paris. And Paris was lovely, except a few things were different. So my video poker play had to change, but it turned out to be a blessing because I got 4 aces several times, which was a pretty nice hit. And their Pai-Gow conditions are different than MGM because they have the progressive. So I found myself playing the progressive bet, and that helped me out. That kept me above water on Pai-Gow for the trip. The highlight, however, was when I wandered over to the Venetian. On this trip, I went to places I don't usually go. So I was at Venetian, Paris, Planet Hollywood. But at Venetian, I was playing video poker, bar top, triple play at quarters, and held 3 to a royal, and I saw the magic happen. Royal flush.
Nice.
First royal flush for me at quarters. I don't count that one at pennies, 100 play. I just stared at that for a while and got myself a fancy drink in celebration and kept staring at it a little bit more. Played one more hand and then cashed out and played some Pai Gow. One little thing about Pai Gow, I was just listening to the episode where another player was kibitzing their blackjack play. That happens a lot at Pai Gow. I'll be setting my hand and the player next to me will start craning over and looking at my hand. I don't usually mind that. I've gotten help on a couple of tricky sets before, but there was one player where I was like, give me a chance to do it myself. Anyway, love the show. Love you guys. And glad you're still getting together. Looking forward to hearing about Zorkfest. Bye.
Yeah, shoot. It's bad enough, again, at a blackjack table when people give you advice. In a lot of, especially if it's being dealt up, they know exactly what you have, and they'll tell, this is what you should do. But yeah, in Pai Gow poker, you have to crane your neck. You have to actually kind of get into somebody's personal space to see what they have. And if you don't know them,
Right.
Yeah, they shouldn't be doing that.
Next time that happens, Julia, just turn to the person and say, would you like to share this chair? Then you don't have to strain as much. We'll both sit on this chair. See how that goes over.
You know, Mike, I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the show, but I do not like Paris Casino. I've stayed there. That was actually very nice. I enjoyed the room. I liked the hotel. But there's something about it. Maybe it's kind of dark, or I don't know.
It's kind of dark. Yeah. It's kind of crowded. And I don't like that they have those, like over the tables, it's like a trellis or something that's over the tables.
Right. They're trying to, make it Parisian. Yeah. And
make it Parisian. I don't know. It just seems confining with that there. I've never really liked that.
And I've never had a good crew there. I mean, I don't know that I've had terrible ones. Yeah. But, they didn't seem to be engaging. I don't know. I just don't care for them.
I've never had good luck there. So
that'll influence the decision too, unfairly.
It's one of the reasons I don't go in there is because it seems like every time I do, I've never really had good luck.
Yeah. And I seem to end up there like late at night when I'm tired. So maybe that's some of it too. It's like, where do you want to go? I don't know. Paris? All right. I guess that's the closest thing.
You end up in Paris and you're both looking at each other thinking, how did we get to Paris? Well, we're here. Let's just go play.
What did we do in our lives that made us end up at Paris, Las Vegas?
It's just one of those things that happens to people in Vegas. Right. I mean, it may not be Paris, but they have somewhere where all of a sudden they're just wondering, how the heck am I here?
We didn't intend to come here. Change only.
Right.
All right. Next call.
Hey, guys. It's Nathan from Sacramento. Sorry I missed you at Zorkfest. I'm glad you had a good time. A couple of quick things. I heard the story from the caller on this previous episode about the Big Six and Big Eight. I remember back around 1990, I wasn't even 21, and I was playing at Boomtown up by Reno. A guy came in. Table max was 1,000. He bet 1,000 on Big Six, Big Eight, and the field. After about an hour and a half, he left 10,000 up, all in black chips. He took all their black chips. So as a new player, I was thinking, wow, what a great way to play. But I quickly learned that wasn't it. Anyhow, I just got back this morning from Aria. Great hotel. My only complaint is there's no 24-hour restaurant. So I was fortunate. They gave me the biggest room I've ever seen before. And I came up about, 1 a.m. and wanted a club sandwich, so I ordered room service. When they told me it'd be an hour, so I figured I had time to take a shower. Well, they came in about 10 minutes. And my wife heard the doorbell and went and sent them away. Needless to say, it was a big fiasco to get my sandwich delivered again. Anyway, my main reason for the call is they have a new machine there by Interblock that seats about 8 people, craps that is. But the thing is you can pick from 3 dice. So you pick 2 dice to be the call of the number. I thought, what a horrible game. You could be wrong every time and always pick the wrong 2 dice. But then I couldn't get in a regular game, so I said, well, let me try this. And it was actually not terrible. There's 3 different colors you can pick from. So I'd stick with the same 2 dice for quite a while. And after a big hand, and then it started to do some 0.7 out, I'd switch over to 2 new ones. I'd have a decent hand again. I just keep doing that. And I know it was just luck of that time, but it ended up working pretty well. It's kind of like going to a new table, except you don't have to leave the table you're at.
Ah.
Anyhow, thanks again for all the great content. Hope you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right. So it's like going to a new table.
All right, without leaving.
I don't know for sure, but I think these machines, the reason they have 3 dice is because you can also play sick bow on them. It's one machine where you can play either game. And if you choose to play craps, then you determine, which 2 dice
you want to use.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That might be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Mix it up. I've never played it before, so I assume maybe it's before each roll. You pick your 2 dice and then it stays that way. And then maybe between each roll you can change, which 2 are going to be the result. I assume it's between each roll you can change or just keep going. But yeah, interesting.
Another little wrinkle to the game, which kind of makes it fun.
Yeah. Nathan, I think what you need to do next time you order a sandwich through room service, let your wife know that sandwich is coming. Because I think he said he got in late, so I assume his wife was asleep, and
probably asleep,
so that's what it was. So he didn't want to wake her; he was doing something nice, and then hopped in the shower. Ding dong, room service.
Well, imagine her; she wakes up.
Right, you're all groggy. You don't know what's going on.
Right, and there's somebody at the door with a club sandwich, and then you hear somebody's in the shower, and you're like, where am I? Am I in Paris?
Yeah. Maybe what she should have done was, yes, please come in. Someone's in my shower. Can you go in and check to see who it is?
Or maybe next time Nathan just can turn the shower off, get out and walk and answer naked. The door. Hey, is that my sandwich?
A lot of options, Nathan.
I'd like to be the room service guy with the guy orders just 1 club sandwich, dry, no mayo. And then opens the door completely naked to take it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Club sandwich dry. I'm trying to think of something to say to that, and I can't. So let's move on. Next up is Charlie.
Let's move on.
Hey guys, this is Charlie from Iowa, and I wanted to call about my last session. Ran into the strangest superstitious dice roller in all my years of crap so far. Here's how it started. So the shooter was across the table from me when I made a come bet. And the guy to the left of the shooter, who's next to roll, still across the table from me, comes over and whispers to me that he's going to roll the dice right where my come bet is. I tell him, okay, I'm already feeling that this guy's going to be some kind of pain in the arse when it's his turn. So the shooter sevens out, and this guy gets the dice, does the standard roll all 5 dice until he sees 2 that he likes, carefully positions the dice and his hand to exactly where he wants everything. And as he rolls, I'll try and make the sound so it comes through well on the podcast, but he does this sound that had to startle most people at the table. After the first roll, I told my girlfriend that, yeah, this guy needs to 7 out as quick as possible. So as soon as he does, after about, 5 rolls, he looks at me like my comeback was the reason he lost. So I just yell back and I'm like, I don't know what he wants me to do. It's a bed area. So he cast out soon after that. It was still a good session for me, but man, some superstitions just kill me. All right, thanks. Good luck at tables.
Weren't we going to do that? Something like that?
We know that guy.
Yeah, at first I thought, hey, that's the guy. Charlie said he was in Iowa. I thought, oh, that's the guy that came up to me and said, hey, I need a real good area to throw there. But that happened in Biloxi, right? That was
in Biloxi.
Okay, so it wasn't him. But yeah, I wonder if he came up to Charlie say, yeah, I'm going to aim for your come bet every time to try to get Charlie to not make any more come bets. I wonder if that was his rationale. I don't know.
Why would he not want come bet?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like the idea that they get in the way of the dice.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, if a guy comes up to me and says, look, I'm going to roll right where you're putting your come bet, and then when he does get the dice and rolls and he makes that noise, I'm immediately coloring up and going up to the room and taking a shower.
Even though he might have action still on the table, right? Your contract bets, color up. They kind of
color me up. I got to get in this shower quick. I think that guy gave me the croups. What is with that?
All right, next call.
Hey, Dr. Mike and Mark. I have a casino trip story for you. I'm from Tyler, Texas. My name's Chris. I drove an hour and a half over to Shreveport recently with $140 in my pocket. I was going to play craps, $10 table. I was just going to play a pass line, 2 come bets, no odds. Figured my money would last a while, and if I somehow doubled up, I would, end the day or spend this 140 and go home. So I get there, cash in my 140. 20 minutes later, I have $550 on the table. So I color up, turn around to leave, and the person next to me at the table says, hey man, you did really good. And I just had this pissed off look on my face. I said, yeah. And walked away and drove an hour and a half back home. I was so mad because I didn't get to play. I had to stick to my plan of I double my bankroll at one big, I would take it and leave. That was pretty good for my bankroll, but I think about the guy next to me and the stories he tells about the guy who showed up for 20 minutes to the crap table, tripled his money, and left all pissed off. Anyway, I love the show. Thanks a lot for putting it out. See you later.
Well, good for you, Chris, being so disciplined that you stuck with your plan, right? So,
and that guy's got a good story at his home poker game.
Yeah,
when he's telling all of his buddies, this guy triples his money and he's just pissed off and leaves.
Yeah, I can guarantee you that Dr. Mike, if he had made that promise to himself, would not have stuck to it. If after 20 minutes he'd tripled his money, he'd only been playing for 20 minutes. No matter what he had said to himself, he wouldn't have stuck with that.
Nope. I guarantee you're right.
Chris followed up to explain how he won so much because he said he was just making $10 pass line and come bets. So how did he triple up in 20 minutes? He said that anytime he won a bet, he would add $5 to it. So pass line come bets, when they would win, he would add $5. He said by the end of the roll, he had $55 bets. So, that's how
that'll
he was able
do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, I wonder how far he had to drive home.
We said an hour and a half.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So an hour and a half to drive home. Yeah, I wouldn't have left.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. 3 hours on the road for 20 minutes of craps play.
That'd be like me driving down to Iowa for 2 hours and 2 hours back and staying 20 minutes. I couldn't do that.
No.
It's like, I got to at least be here as long as the time I spend on the road driving.
But again, Chris, good for you sticking with it because, your bankroll appreciates it. All right, next up is Kyle. Some of the audio's a little rough, but you'll definitely be able to understand it. Here we go.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Kyle from Salt Lake. Just got back from Vegas yesterday, so just wanted to give a quick report, including a brief overview of my experience at the U2 concert in the Sphere, in case any listeners are interested. But first, on the gambling side, not too much action for the weekend, honestly. I mainly focus on sports bets this time around, but one important update is that $10 tables on the Strip are not dead yet. I know those are definitely endangered, but I did see at least 2 $10 blackjack tables at Luxor on Sunday afternoon, which was kind of surprising since it was peak foot traffic time for people on their way to the Raiders game next door. But you may remember in my last call a few months ago, I was the one who threw away adult full house video poker to cap off a pretty rough night at Mohegan Sun. Well, this time around, I have a happier ending. So just a couple of rounds into my game, I was dealt 4 kings and was sure to hold all of them this time. So a nice redemption story. And after that, I decided to walk right away with my head held high. So now onto the Sphere. I was there this past Saturday, November 4th. Just a couple of logistical piece of advice first. So for anyone listening who's planning to go, honestly, the best way to get there is by foot if you can. Traffic and construction looks like a complete mess with all the S1 race preparations in full swing. So if you're staying on the Strip, best bet is to just post it up there. The Sphere has reserved seating and general admission tickets on the floor, and you're on the floor. General admission tickets are actually one of the cheaper options because you do get a more broad view of the visuals on the screen if you're seated. But the floor was equally terrific. The crowd was very lively. Your neck might get a little strained from constantly staring up at the ceiling, but it's well worth it. I was told that the quality of the footage in the Sphere is it's not 4K, it's not even 8K, but 16K resolution. And boy, it looks cool. So the most impressive visuals were whenever the screen was taken up by these vast landscapes, like they show the entire empty Nevada desert with a clear blue sky, for example. And later in the show, there's a really nice panoramic view of the Vegas Strip. So if you have a general admission ticket, you can honestly walk right in line at 6:30 when the doors open and still have a great shot being within a few rows of the stage. We were about 4 rows deep from the stage, and it was outstanding. U2 is one of my top 5 bands of all time, and they've always been a tremendous live act, and they did it again here. So, yeah, definitely recommend for me. One thing I would say is to avoid buying drinks at the venue. I think sodas were going for $14, beer was $19, and something called a specialty cocktail was $30. So, yeah, maybe find an alternative for drinks beforehand. But I highly recommend it. And, yeah, so it was great. Thanks, you guys, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.
All right. Thanks for the report, Kyle. Gosh, Mike, you and I haven't been to Vegas in well over a year. The Sphere is certainly something that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I mean, I see it online and stuff, and I look at it, and it looks so cool. Yeah, I'd really like to see that. Inside must be awesome.
Oh, yeah. You know, they've showed, some people have taken some footage of the inside during that U2 concert. It's so realistic, and some of it kind of messes with your perception. You're thinking, oh, am I seeing what I'm seeing? So, yeah, looking forward to that.
Well, speaking of that, we'll have to make a trip out to Vegas sometime. Maybe in the new year, maybe around February, around my birthday.
Oh, that would be good. Or, March Madness.
March Madness. Yeah.
All right, last call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Hope you guys are doing great. A couple of holiday-themed questions for you here. First one, I come from a family, we love to play cards, pinochle, euchre, even some gambling games like pass the ace, left, right, center, just for some quarters. So around Christmas time, we'd always sit around, have, 10, 15, 20 people playing a big giant game of left, right, center. It was a lot of fun. Well, this year we're hosting my wife's family, and they're not so much into playing card games or any of the gambling games, and I really want to get them into it. Any advice on how to, or, even where to start, how to get them into it? Second question, when is it too early to start playing Christmas music on the radio? I do a lot of driving for work. And right after Halloween, I'm already hearing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Come on, man. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. I'll take your responses off the air.
All right. Well, as far as I'm concerned, if you're talking about the radio, over-the-air radio, there shouldn't be any Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. What do you think, Dr. Mike?
I agree 100%. The day after Thanksgiving, Christmas music starts. It ends on Christmas Eve.
Now, I have no trouble with stores starting to advertise Christmas. That's fine. Shopping, that kind of thing. Yeah, after Thanksgiving. You want to listen to Christmas music on your own? Go on to Spotify and choose the Christmas music. That is up to you.
Well, I have some Christmas albums on my phone.
Yeah.
So when I'm driving, I'll be playing like whatever music I want to listen to that day. And then, every once in a while, I put a Christmas song or two on, ones I really, really like.
Yeah, that's fine for you.
That's my
don't force
choice.
Your Christmas music on me until Thanksgiving.
Oh, no. I drive with the windows up. I drive fast so nobody can hear I'm listening to Christmas music. And I look like I'm pissed off.
That's all the time. Well, Mike, what advice do we have for Nick for sort of acclimating new family members to cards? I was thinking maybe something like AC-Doocy, just because it's so simple.
It's very simple and it's kind of fun.
You just play. You don't even need to play for money. You can just give everybody poker chips ahead of time, or pennies, or raisins.
No. What you do, Mark, is what you do in your family. You give everyone orange slices.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Orange slices, and you play for, I bet 3 orange slices. And you see, that way people have to decide, should I eat my orange slices? I won't have much to bet with, but boy, I sure want to eat my orange slices.
So again, AC Doocy, it's just a game where you put 2 cards out on the table for each player. You go around the table, when it's Martha's turn, you put out 2 cards for her. And it's like, all right, Martha, do you want to bet that the next card will be in between those 2 cards? So if it's like a 3 and a 10, all right, Martha, are you going to bet that the next card is between a 3 or a 10? She can say, yes, I'll risk, one of these orange slices, or say, no, I just pass, and it goes to the next person. And the reason I guess it's called AC Doocy is because a really good spread is if you get a deuce and an ace, and the ace is high, then, you've got a lot of room to win there. And one final rule, I don't want to go into all the rules of AC Doocy, but generally, if ace is the first card dealt up, the person has the option to say that's a low ace or a high ace. And then if the second card is an ace, it's always a high. That's how we play it. Anyway, I went into way too much detail, but...
Well, no, I think you should mention, too, if you have like a 2 and a 10 and you bet something and a 10 comes up, you have to pay double what
that's
you bet.
Also one of the rules that we have.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the fact that if you play with like orange slices, when you do win a pot, you're getting all these orange slices that everyone else at the table's been touching.
Yeah, they're unwrapped orange slices is what you're saying, Dr. Mike. Yeah, they're not individually wrapped.
Unwrapped orange slices.
Any other ideas, though, for maybe, getting, hey, let's go play?
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, if it's a small group, Pie Gal's always a fun game.
Pie Gal. But then
if they know how to play poker.
Well, see, the thing is, if they know how to play poker, then they're not novices to cards, right?
Well,
I'm thinking more something like Uno.
Uno's
that's
fun,
always a lot of fun. Now, it depends on the people's personalities, right? Uno can be kind of cutthroat, a draw 4.
Yeah, right. How about Rummy Cube?
What's Rummy Cube?
It's not with cards, but it's like a card game played with little tiles. Okay. It's kind of fun. We have that. We play that every once in a while. And we play a lot of Uno, and we play different card games. Kings on the Corner was always one of my favorites.
Yeah. We won't go into the rules here, but look that up. Yeah. That's good. I used to play that too with my grandparents as a kid.
Yeah.
That's a really good suggestion, Mike. Yeah, I think that's...
Yeah, it's a fun family game.
Yeah, Kings on the Corner. Yeah, good.
Right.
All right. Well, F1 that Kyle mentioned, we really haven't talked about it on our show, but it is coming up. It is going to be Saturday, November 18th.
This coming Saturday.
Yeah, Las Vegas Grand Prix, 10 p.m. local time. So that's
10 o'clock at night. So how's
Pacific
it on TV
time.
Here?
You're going to be watching it at midnight, my friend, in Minnesota.
I know, but is it on? Is it broadcast on something?
Yeah,
it's on ESPN.
It's on ESPN, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, I have to watch it. Or maybe I'll record it.
No, don't record it. You got to watch it.
I have to watch it because I want to see where they go. I mean,
it's going to be kind of fun. Yeah, and before that, there's some practice races and some qualifying races. Again, those are probably not going to be the best for East Coast viewers. Gosh, even for some Pacific Coast viewers, they're going to be late at night. But yeah, ESPN.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I definitely want to watch that just so I can see Vegas. And my older daughter is very much into Formula One racing.
Seriously?
I am serious.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got some.
She watches it every week.
That's great. Oh, that's great. Okay. Well, anyway, hopefully this will be good. It caused a lot of chaos in the strip area and employees trying to get to work. And, so hopefully it will have been all worth it. And, it'll be very interesting to Monday morning quarterback this thing, because when it was originally announced, a lot of the hotel casinos were offering these packages for ridiculously huge amounts. And now that it's getting closer, some of them are giving rooms away. They're not seeing the response that they were expecting from some of these high rollers, et cetera. So, it's going to take some tweaking, but we'll see afterwards how it all turns out.
They were probably expecting a lot of European fans.
That's what I was thinking too, right? Some of the wealthier people to come over, and how many are there, right? They could come over, right?
And there's a lot of rooms in Vegas.
Yeah, a lot of rooms. So this coming Saturday, enjoy. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some donations. Dr. Mike, I believe listener Kinson sent you a donation for the shoe drive.
Yes, he did. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
My wife and the lady who runs the program at the school went shopping, and they bought all kinds of stuff for the kids.
Oh, great. Well, thank you very much for that. We also want to thank some people for some recurring donations to the show. Jeremy at the Color Up YouTube channel, James, Kurt, and Nathan. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from listener Mark for my annual golf trip to Vegas that will be in Laughlin because of the F1 race. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, good. He can try out Laughlin. I'd like to hear a report on that.
Yeah, and good luck on that trip, Mark. And a donation from Jason. Thank you, and a karma donation for a trip to meet a friend at Circa for a few nights over Thanksgiving, including betting and watching the Thanksgiving Day NFL games while playing bar tops, maximizing gambling recreation time. I love those football games on Thanksgiving. And to be sitting there at Circa at one of those bar tops and just looking at those big screens, I can't think of anything better other than, getting together with your family, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. He can still do that in Vegas.
Yeah, it's true.
Our friend Gary, he went to Vegas every year for Thanksgiving.
Oh, it's great as long as if you're driving, don't drive back that Sunday.
No.
We did that once. Yeah. You, me, and Paul. That was, oh, my God. That was a disaster.
That's a rough drive.
Yeah.
Wait for Monday or come home Saturday.
Yeah. Hey, at the top of our webpage, you'll find a link to our store where you can buy You Can Bet on That t-shirts. Also, you can find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. And we've got a list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Dr. Mike, what do you got for us?
Well, Mark, as I'm going through my life here, I run into a lot of people, and someone the other day asked me, what are you doing this weekend? I said, well, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then on Sunday, I got to record the podcast, and it's, podcast. And I said, yeah. And I explained, what it was. And then he said something like, gosh, I've always wanted to play craps. I've seen it in movies. I've seen it on things. It looks like so much fun, but I just never have tried it.
Yeah.
So I invited that person to come with me down to Iowa one day, to spend a few hours, and we'll have fun playing some craps. But it just occurred to me, that happens all the time to me. So I think we just got to get more people out to try stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
like craps, if you've always wondered about craps and, you've seen like it's a fun game. Now, I know we're talking to an audience of people who go to casinos, but they can tell their friends and their family members at Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever, say, yeah, here's a fun little casino game you might like to try. It's very social and fun and, anyway, get people into that.
All right. So you're saying that you want to encourage people to kind of get out of their comfort zone, try new things in general. You're talking about craps specifically, but maybe like skydiving.
Yeah,
maybe
or
like climbing Mount Everest.
Well,
maybe,
that might be going
safari.
That might be going to an extreme.
Okay.
I'm thinking of things that you've always wanted to do and you've just never done.
Okay, so maybe not risky or adventurous things, just things you've never done. I've never had Indian food, for example, might be something that
okay. And I've always wondered what it tastes like.
Okay, all right. Well,
so
that's
go
good
out
advice.
to an Indian dinner.
That's very good. That's good advice.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I would never skydive. It just
I think I'm beyond that too.
It freaks me out. So I mean, I'm not going to try that because I really don't want to. But I've never been to Carlsbad Caverns, and I love caves. The Balloon Festival, in Albuquerque.
All right, I think we take your point, Dr. Mike. It's
That's
good
another
advice.
one.
Yeah.
I've been to the Balloon Festival.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And everyone should go. And as a kid, I always wanted to go. And when I finally did, it was like awesome. I couldn't believe it. So from our perspective, gambling, maybe go to a place, remember when a bunch of guys went to Macau?
Oh, yeah.
Right. It was like, let's go to Macau.
Yeah.
And now maybe you don't have the money for that or the time or whatever, but, make something that's doable close to you that you've never done.
All right.
You know,
yeah, good advice.
And go try it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we want to wish all of our American friends happy Thanksgiving because that'll be coming up before our next episode. So hopefully you'll have a good one. And thank you for listening to this show, everybody.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And I'm going to head upstairs and get in the shower and get rid of some of this croup.
All right. Good luck, Dr. Mike. So long.
Thank you. Good night.
El Cajon? That's the anus of San Diego.